Wow, what a difference this is without a radio clock, Chris. We can barely catch our breath during the break. More content, less breaks, people. That's what happens when it's a TV show, not a radio show. Although I really do miss my radio show already. It's only been one
poor
day.
baby. He misses his radio show. Where?
Are you done?
I'm
You
done.
want to do a little bit more? I just want to make sure you get out of your system. All right. The playoffs have been expanded. We expected that. Look, it's baked into the new CBA. I mean, what was going to happen? The owners get together and they vote down this concession they've gotten from the players to expand the playoffs? Hell no. They've wanted to do this for years. They realized, though, 5 years ago, we can't do it without the agreement of the union. So let's get the agreement of the union. They got the agreement of the union, so it was perfunctory. Of course, they were going to expand the playoffs from 12 to 14. And here's how it's going to go, Chris. 6 games wild card weekend. 2 plays 7 in each conference. 3 plays 6. 4 plays 5. And again, a total of 6 games. 3 will be played on Saturday. The windows will be, roughly speaking, 1 p.m., 4:30-ish p.m. Eastern, and 8-ish p.m. Eastern. Same on Sunday as Saturday. And NBC and CBS get an extra game, and we get the Sunday night game, Christopher, and it will be telecast not just on NBC, but also on Telemundo and the new Peacock streaming service that debuts later this month, the answer to the other various streaming services out there with a lot of NBC content, and that playoff game that Sunday night. So that is going to be awesome when it happens, if it happens.
Right, it is. It is awesome. I mean, as a viewer, it's awesome. I think the NFL is making great strides, to let Telemundo, Nickelodeon. I mean, we are having a little crisis with getting our youth involved in the NFL. To have Nickelodeon do their own broadcast that's going to appeal to young kids. I mean, that's brilliant. That's kudos to the NFL. Great job there. We need to involve that generation more, certainly. Okay? Yeah, the extra playoff games are a lot of fun. I'm all for it. But I also just don't know if I love it either. I'm a little concerned for the players. I am. I mean, again, it's a tough, grueling season as is. Now it's an extra regular season game. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs, with this current model that we're going to go into in the 2020 season, the Kansas City Chiefs, right, they would play 2 extra games this year. So they would have to play.
No, time out. The 17-game season doesn't start this year.
I mean, sorry, I meant 21-21. Yes,
right. All right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
but you're right. Eventually, the 2 seed is going to have to play 2 more games than it currently played on its way to the Super Bowl if it gets to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I mean, 21 football games for grown men in the NFL where we know guys are bigger than faster than ever. That concerns me, and you've heard my concerns too. I'm just worried about it being swayed to the number 1 seed that much more. I'm worried about a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, let's just say with Patrick Mahomes, and they tie the number 1 seed and they're 13-3, but they lose some tiebreaker and now they're the 2 seed and they're playing a home wild card game. And yeah, you ratchet up the percentage chances of a guy like Patrick Mahomes getting a high ankle sprain or doing something like that, and then therefore favoring the number 1 seed even more to get to the Super Bowl. So those are my biggest concerns as a viewer and as a fan. I love it. It is going to be more football. And for the most part, I think that the 7 seeds will be, worthy football teams. Every now and then, though, Mike, I think we're going to get a team that's, 8-8, and we're going to look at it and go, damn, they have no right to be in the playoffs, but here they are.
Did you say ratchet up?
I think
you
I
said
did.
ratchet up.
I think I did.
The NFL sent around some stats yesterday looking back over the last 30 years because it was in 1990 when the playoff field expanded to 12 teams. Since then, 73% plus of the extra teams that would have been added to the postseason field if there had been 14 would have had winning records. 25% would have had 8-8 records or 500 records because I guess there's no way you're going to have a 500 record unless you're 8-8 because there's no one who's been 7-7-2. And then there's only been 1 team one team out of what would have been an extra 60 playoff teams if there had been 14 since 1990 that would have had a losing record. So I don't think that's really a concern. There have been plenty of losing teams who win divisions. That's one of the problems with the current configuration.
Yes.
You know,
right.
You've had 7-9, 7-8-1. The Seahawks beat the Saints, who were 4 or 5 games better 10 years ago in the wild card round because they got to play the game at home in Seattle against that backdrop of the noise that registers on the Richter scale. So
that was the Beastquake game, right?
That was the Beastquake game where they actually felt it on a local Richter scale as an earthquake when he scored the touchdown that broke the game open, and they had a losing record. So now it's one thing to get that game at home, but you're right. You start getting an 8-8 team on the road against a 2 seed. How good of a game is it going to be? And the problem is, and look, there's a balance, and we've talked about this. On one hand, you're making it a hell of a lot easier for the 1 seed to get to the Super Bowl. The 2 seed's going to be more banged up. The 2 seed plays an extra game. The 1 seed only has to win 2 to get there. Everybody else has to win 3. That's going to make the playoffs themselves maybe a little less interesting, but it's going to make the Super Bowl better. We're more likely to have 1 seed versus 1 seed in the Super Bowl, which makes for a better game. I keep going back to 1985. Oh, it was awesome when the Patriots upset the Dolphins. Take that, Dan Marino. And then 2 weeks later, it's the Patriots and the Bears in the Super Bowl instead of the Dolphins and the Bears, which we should have had in the Super Bowl. So we're going to have more of those best versus best in the Super Bowl.
Well, that doesn't mean crap, though. I mean, who cares? I mean, the best versus the best played this year. I would have took Kansas City to beat the Ravens.
They didn't.
I don't care.
But the Ravens were the 1 seed.
I know, but we saw one of the coolest endings to a Super Bowl we've ever seen because it added another team. I understand. Like I get you. I know what you're saying. You're right. More times than it is, it's going to pit best versus best. But the best team isn't always the 1 seed. It's not to me. I understand their record might be the best, but that's where I get a little worried. Like if 2 teams are 13-3, and then that one team that loses the tiebreaker and becomes the number 2 seed, and maybe they had a bunch of players hurt during the year, and that's why they were 13-3, when really we look at them and go, oh, man, if Mahomes didn't get hurt in that game, they would have been 15-1 this year. Who knows? Maybe they could have got undefeated or whatever it may be. But that's where I just worry about it, too. And I think the other point, too, Mike, is we've seen here in recent history the teams with the byes are starting to figure this out, which scares me. We're seeing it very swayed to the 1 and 2 seed getting to the Super Bowl every year. I think teams have figured out the formula as far as how to stay fresh, how to stay healthy, still stay, all cylinders go, practicing and doing that. And, that's where I worry about this too. It's just going to be two one-seeded favored, I guess, is what I'm worried about.
One of the things I'm going to try to remember to do later this day, go back over the past, I don't know, however many years I feel like doing it, and look at what the Super Bowl matchup would have been if it was 1 seed versus 1 seed. And objectively, does that feel to me like it would have been a better game? 2018, Patriots-Saints. Would that have been a better game than Patriots-Rams, right?
Yes, it would have been. No doubt about it. I agree with you there. Yes, you're right. I got it here. But that would have been Kansas City versus New Orleans if you went 1 seed versus 1 seed that year, right?
Yeah,
yes,
you got me there. That would have been a great game too.
It would have been a great game too. I got it right here in front of me. Let's go do it. Let's do it. I got all right. So then in 2017, we had New England, Philadelphia. It was a great Super Bowl. We got that, right? 2017, we were there to witness that. So that was a great matchup. And then 2016, we would have had New England, Dallas, right? That was the year that Atlanta ended up going instead of Dallas, which would have been great on viewership too. But I know we got to go to commercials, so go ahead.
Yeah, but I agree with you. Just because a team's a 1 seed doesn't mean it's going to make for a great Super Bowl. But the reality is we're going to see more 1 seeds in the Super Bowl. And it could be that 5 years from now, guys like us will start saying, let's just go ahead and put 16 teams in the playoffs and force the 1 seed to play wild card weekend and be done with it, because it's not fair to give the 1 seed the bye and make everyone else play.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.